Imagine being at the most electrifying concert of your life. The stadium is roaring. The king is on stage, sweating under the spotlights, hitting those legendary notes that make your heart race. Then suddenly silence. His voice breaks. His body stumbles. And in one horrifying moment, thousands of people watch as their hero collapses before their eyes. This is the untold story of the night Elvis's heart nearly stopped everything. The night the world held its breath. It was August 1975, and Elvis Presley was at the height of his comeback. After years of fighting against fading relevance, the king had reclaimed his throne. His Las Vegas residencies were legendary sold-out shows night after night, with screaming fans camping outside hotels just for a glimpse of him. That particular evening, the energy was electric. Elvis was performing at the International Hotel, and he felt invincible. He had regained his charisma. His voice was hitting notes that rivaled his younger days, and the audience was eating every second of it, but few knew the truth behind the scenes. Elvis was battling demons nobody talked about back then. His grueling schedule demanded he perform 6 nights a week, sometimes twice a night. The constant pressure to maintain his image, combined with the medications his personal doctors were prescribing, was taking a silent toll. He was living on a cocktail of uppers to keep him energized during performances and downers to help him sleep in the rare quiet hours. His manager, Colonel Parker, pushed him relentlessly, squeezing every ounce of performance value from the star. The pressure was immense. Elvis wasn't just performing, he was carrying the weight of millions of expectations. He was the man who'd revolutionized music, changed culture, and given people a soundtrack to their lives. Every performance had to be perfect. Every show had to justify the ticket prices and the hype. The applause felt like oxygen, but it was also suffocating him. That night, as he took the stage, nobody in that arena could sense what was about to happen. The opening notes were pristine. His movements were fluid and commanding. But inside his body, something was desperately wrong. His heart was working overtime, pushed to its limits by stimulants and stress. And he was about to discover just how fragile even a king could be. 20 minutes into the performance, something shifted. Elvis had always been a consummate professional, someone who'd never missed a beat, never acknowledged pain or weakness on stage. But that night was different. His backup singers noticed it first. They could see the slight tremor in his movements, the way he gripped the microphone a little tighter than usual. Something was off with the king. The first sign was subtle. Elvis's voice cracked during Suspicious Minds, a song he performed thousands of times without flaw. The crowd barely noticed. Most assumed it was intentional, part of his artistic expression. But his band knew better. The drummer later recalled feeling a strange tension settle over the stage, a collective holding of breath among the musicians. Then came the sweat. Not the normal perspiration from an energetic performance, but torrential, almost frightening amounts of sweat pouring down his face. His sequin jumpsuit, already damp from the stage lights, became soaked through. Elvis wiped his forehead repeatedly, but the sweat kept coming. His breathing became heavier, more labored. He transitioned between songs more quickly than usual, as if he was struggling to keep up with the physical demands of performing. The audience sensed something was wrong, too. The crowd's energy began to shift from euphoric excitement to concerned confusion. People in the front rows could see his hands shaking slightly as he held the microphone. Some fans started whispering to their neighbors. Was Elvis okay? Was he sick? But the king, ever the professional, pushed through. Then came the moment that would change everything. During Can't Help Falling in Love, Elvis felt a pain shoot through his chest. It wasn't sharp or immediately debilitating, more like a heavy pressure, as if someone had placed a brick directly on his heart. His face went pale, though the stage lights masked it from most of the crowd. He stumbled slightly, catching himself on the edge of the piano. For a split second, his eyes widened with real fear, the kind of fear a man experiences when he realizes his body might be betraying him in front of thousands of witnesses. The moment happened at 9:47 p.m. Security and medical personnel would later pinpoint it to the exact second. Elvis was in the middle of an emotional rendition of one of his classic ballads when his knees suddenly buckled. It wasn't a dramatic fall or a theatrical move. It was a genuine physiological failure. His body simply gave out. He went down hard, his massive frame hitting the stage with a sickening thud that echoed through the arena. The microphone flew from his hand, creating an ear-piercing feedback noise that cut through the music. The live orchestra ground to a halt. The moment seemed to exist outside of time, a surreal instant where the world stopped spinning. The crowd erupted in panic. Screams pierced the air. Some people thought it was part of the show. Others immediately understood they were witnessing something catastrophic. Women fainted. Men rushed toward the stage. Security personnel tried to hold back the tide of panicked fans while simultaneously rushing to Elvis's aid. His backup singers stood frozen, unable to process what they were seeing. The band members looked at each other in shock, instruments still in their hands. This couldn't be happening. Not to Elvis. Not to the king. He was invincible, wasn't he? He was supposed to be forever. Medical personnel reached him within seconds. His personal physician, Dr. Nick, was backstage and rushed out immediately. He found Elvis unconscious, his heart rate erratic and dangerously elevated. The doctor began emergency procedures right there on the stage, with thousands of horrified eyes watching. Paramedics arrived within minutes, their emergency equipment suddenly the center of attention in what had been a celebration moments before. The concert was officially canceled. The house lights came up. The magic was shattered. What had been the most anticipated evening of the summer became a nightmare that nobody would ever forget. Elvis regained consciousness in the ambulance, his heart stabilized by the medical team. He was rushed to Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis, where a full battery of tests were run. The diagnosis was shocking, yet unsurprising to those who knew the truth. Severe heart arrhythmia, brought on by a combination of exhaustion, stimulant abuse, and underlying cardiovascular stress. The doctors were blunt with him. He had pushed himself too far. His body was breaking down under the unsustainable pressure he'd been living with for years. If he didn't make serious changes, the next episode might not end as fortunately. The king finally had to confront a truth he'd been avoiding. He was mortal after all. The incident sparked a national conversation that had never happened before. Suddenly, people were talking about performer burnout, about the dark side of stardom, about the medications and pills that were casually prescribed to entertainers to keep them functioning. Journalists started digging into Elvis's medical history, revealing the shocking extent of his drug use, prescribed and otherwise. More importantly, the incident changed Elvis. For the first time in his career, he had to prioritize his health over his image. He cut back on performances. He entered treatment programs. He was forced to confront the addiction issues that had been quietly destroying him. While he never fully conquered his demons, that's a sadder story he did make genuine. Efforts to live differently. The night the music stopped wasn't just about one man's health crisis. It was a pivotal moment in entertainment history that raised awareness about the cost of fame, the dangers of unchecked success, and the importance of recognizing when even the strongest among us need help. It proved that no amount of talent or charisma could protect you from the consequences of ignoring your body's desperate signals. The night the music stopped reminds us that behind every legend, every icon, every glittering performance is a human being with physical limits. Elvis's collapse wasn't just a medical emergency. It was a wake-up call for an entire industry. Here's what we want to know from you. What's your most shocking celebrity health story? Or, if you've ever felt like you were pushing yourself too hard, What made you finally stop? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from entertainment history.